hard truth. Some family members don't want you to change, not because they're evil, but because your growth forces them to confront where they stayed the same. Your success becomes their mirror. I am Napoleon Hill, and I speak to you now, the late starter, the one who knows they are meant for more, but is held back by an invisible yet powerful chain. If you are starting your journey toward a definite chief aim in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, or beyond, you already feel the crushing weight of lost time. But what is heavier still is the burden of other people's memories and their expectations of the person you were. They are your primary environment, and your environment is your destiny, dictating whether you ascend to command or descend to compliance, a fate no soul was truly meant to endure. You have wasted years listening to them. You must now end the conversation. You must cut the cord of mental dependency that binds you to their low expectations, and you must do so with speed and finality. You must recognize that the most insidious enemy to your success is often masked by the face of love and concern. This mental sabotage, executed by those you trust most, is the root of your stagnation, stealing your ambition one well-meaning remark at a time, and ensuring you remain a predictable figure in their small, static world. To break free and to reclaim the years you feel you have wasted, you must stop asking for their permission to live your own life. You must stop seeking their validation for your desire to achieve. We begin immediately with the first principle of all enduring success, and the first defense against this toxic influence: decision. The man who hesitates remains a servant, paying the price of his indecision in decades of regret and mounting fear, watching opportunities pass away to the swift and bold who understand that fortune favors the decisive mind. You must reach a firm, unshakable decision to padlock your mind against the negative influences of those closest to you. That padlock is not optional. It is the absolute requirement for your freedom. It must be locked now, without reservation. The day you decide your future is more important than their comfort is the day your chains break. You are drawing a line in the sand of your own potential, declaring your sovereignty over your own mind and your future, and announcing to the universe that you are ready to command the circumstances of your life and fulfill your definite chief aim. The duty trap, overcoming the fear of criticism. I tell you plainly, you have likely stayed small, held back, or delayed your definitive start because you believe you owe your family a version of yourself that makes them comfortable. You confuse love with obedience. You have been trained to mistake familiarity for security and dependence for devotion. This toxic exchange is a subtle form of emotional blackmail that stunts growth, ensuring you never rise high enough to make their own stagnation visible and comfortable. This error is one of the costliest in life, because countless numbers of men and women permit relatives to wreck their lives in the name of duty, because at its root they fear criticism. They fear the public scorn that comes from deviating from the established norm, and they project that fear onto you, cloaking it as concern and prudence. They tell you to be realistic when they mean to tell you to be afraid and conform to their low standard of risk and ambition. They are asking you to carry their baggage of limitations, the burden of their unrealized ambitions, and that is a load you cannot afford to carry on the road to fortune. This is not a simple family drama. This is the fear of criticism, one of the 6 basic fears that plagues the human mind, wearing the costume of responsibility. When they offer their negative advice, they are not consciously conspiring against you. They are simply passing on the inherited limitations, the small thinking, and the fears that were passed to them. They are merely a link in a chain of unexamined beliefs that I call social heredity. This inherited fear of deviation forces them to attempt to police your boundaries, ensuring you do not surpass the station they have mentally assigned to you, based on their own self-imposed limitations and failures, thereby preserving the status quo of the family's expectations. When they criticize your idea, when they tell you your goal is foolish, when they tell you that people like us do not achieve such things, they are not speaking about your potential. They are speaking about their own inability to have taken the same risk, to have endured the same uncertainty. They are reciting the script of their own compromises. They are asking you to join them in their comfortable, mediocre prison, and you must refuse the invitation with the same finality that a king refuses a peasant's demand. Your refusal must be absolute, for partial rejection is equal to acceptance of defeat and stagnation of the soul, and your highest duty is to the realization of your own potential. The price of their comfort is your stagnation. You pay for their peace of mind with your most valuable asset, your time. This transaction must cease immediately, for every second you waste is a violation of your own potential and a sacrifice of your future freedom. No financial gain can ever compensate for years spent living small, sacrificing your definite chief aim to the fear of others. The story of Marconi, the price of a great dream. I have seen the power of this fear destroy the greatest of minds. Look at the true story of Guglielmo Marconi, the man who gave the world the wireless telegraph. His story is a testament to the price of a burning desire that defied all conventional thinking and emotional pressure, demonstrating the heroic effort required to separate genius from the crowd and its suffocating limitations, thereby achieving his rightful place in history. When Marconi, a young man with a burning desire and a definite chief aim, announced his dream of sending messages through the air without wires, how do you suppose his inner circle reacted? His friends and his relatives did not celebrate. They did not encourage. They had him taken into custody and examined in a psychopathic hospital. They literally judged his ambition as a form of mental instability, because his vision exceeded the realm of their own established facts and technological understanding. They did this in the name of duty. They truly believed they were saving him from mental decline, saving him from himself. They saw his imagination as a threat to his reputation and stability. They feared the disgrace his delusions would bring upon the family name, preferring the safety of common sense to the terror of genius. But what they actually accomplished was the destruction of his initiative through public ridicule, all to reestablish their own small, fearful sense of reality. His magnificent vision terrified their commonplace world. They tried to institutionalize his genius simply because it exceeded their comprehension, proving that the greatest obstacle is often familiarity and the fear of the unknown, masquerading as protective love and social responsibility, attempting to drag him back to the ground level. Marconi was a man of immense willpower and persistence, and he overcame them and achieved his fortune. He had to decide that the world's condemnation was less important than the realization of his definite chief aim. His triumph was a victory over the tyranny of those closest to him. He achieved success by maintaining faith in his invisible vision despite visible opposition and public mockery. But I ask you, how many of you hearing this message today have had your own initiative stopped by a less dramatic but equally destructive intervention from those you love? They used guilt instead of handcuffs, but the result, the cessation of the dream, is the same. If you are a late starter, this effect is amplified tenfold. They remember the old habits, the old failures, the old self. Their minds say, he is trying to be something he is not. And they will, with a loving smile and a tone of concern, attempt to bring you back to the familiar failure. They will try to restore the version of you that is safe, predictable, and controllable. You must deny them this control, understanding that your vision requires a boldness that their small world cannot tolerate, and that your loyalty must first be to the future you intend to create and the potential you must realize, rejecting the temptation of conformity. You must understand this. Your primary duty is not to their comfort, it is to your own definite purpose. Without achieving that, you cannot serve anyone effectively, including them. Your wealth will make you a greater servant than your poverty ever could. A man who owns his life can lift others. A man who is owned by fear can only drag them down. Your success is your only true legacy to them, demonstrating the power of possibility and serving as a light for others who are still trapped in the same snare of fear. Action steps. Padlock your mind against the pack. To escape the duty trap, you must make a firm decision right now to protect your mind from this lethal influence. Define your true duty, the Declaration of Independence. You must acknowledge this maxim as law. Duty does not require you to submit to the destruction of your personal ambitions. Your duty is to become the fullest, most capable expression of your potential so that you can lift others with you. Declare now that your primary duty is to your definite purpose, not to their comfort. This declaration must be written and reviewed. You must write a definite statement of this new duty, treating it as a contract with yourself that cannot be broken. It must be read aloud morning and night, installing this principle deep within your subconscious belief structure, making it an operating principle of your life that supersedes all external demands, no matter the emotional cost. The closed mind. Reach a permanent decision to keep your own counsel. Do not discuss your business plans, your financial strategies, or your definite chief aim with relatives who have no specialized knowledge or experience in that field. Their advice is generally worthless, but their doubt is absolutely costly to your faith. Keep silent until your results speak louder than their opinions. Your plans must be discussed only within your mastermind alliance, where specialized knowledge and harmony reside, and where failure is treated as a lesson, not a condemnation. This is the difference between seeking advice and seeking validation. One builds confidence and fortune. The other destroys it through indecision and fear. The mental padlock. You must immediately and forcibly close the doors of your mind tightly against all people who depress or discourage you in any way, even if they are sitting at your dinner table. When a negative opinion is voiced, instantly activate your willpower to reject it. This is not disrespectful. This is not hatred. It is self-preservation. It is the first step toward the self-confidence required for greatness. This mental refusal is a daily exercise in developing your willpower, reinforcing your internal sovereignty over external opinion, and treating every negative word as the poison it is, demanding instant mental quarantine and neutralization through conscious counterthought. Affirm this aloud now. Let the words settle into your subconscious. I refuse to sacrifice my purpose to another person's fear. My first duty is to my destiny. If you are a late starter, you are already behind schedule. You do not have the time to spend hours defending your choices to those who cannot understand them. You must move with the speed of certainty. Your promptness in action will be the final, irrefutable answer to their doubt, saving you years of wasted argument and wasted energy. The time for explanation is over. The time for demonstration has begun, and your actions will speak the only language they truly respect: tangible results and unshakable power. The mirror effect. Escaping social heredity. Your growth makes your family uncomfortable because it breaks the fundamental, unwritten law of your clan, the law of social heredity. This law states that people who associate intimately tend to absorb one another's habits, thoughts, and levels of achievement. You are all bound to the same altitude, and by attempting to climb higher, you are breaking this hypnotic rhythm. They will subconsciously or even consciously fight to pull you back to the level of the pack. They fear your elevation because it exposes their choice to stay grounded, making your success a moral critique of their own path and their accepted limitations, which is a psychic pain they will attempt to alleviate by dragging you down through doubt and ridicule, restoring their mental equilibrium. This is why you may have heard, "I'm the black sheep," or been told, "You're getting above your raising." This is the primal voice of environment and social heredity fighting to preserve itself. Your environment is a subtle, invisible force that works through the principles of autosuggestion and, yes, a form of telepathy. The fears of others are communicated to you without a single word being spoken. The dominant thoughts of your circle are being absorbed by your subconscious mind right now, shaping your belief system more powerfully than any book you read or lecture you hear. Because the subconscious listens to the voices it hears most consistently and believes the nearest source to be factual authority, a negative environment acts like a constant, low-grade fever on the mind. The thoughts of scarcity, the habits of comfort, the limitations, and the financial lack of your immediate circle are absorbed by your subconscious even against your will. Your mind is like fertile ground, and if you keep it near weeds, you will not grow the crops of success. The mental climate of your home is either helping you build a fortune or cementing your poverty. There is no neutral ground in the mental realm. You are either influenced toward freedom or toward servitude, and the pull of the familiar is incredibly strong, demanding conformity and punishing ambition with the subtle, insidious weight of shared failure. The pet crow, the power of the pack. I conducted an experiment years ago that demonstrated this power vividly, the power of the pack. I raised a pet crow that I trained meticulously. It was intelligent, responsive, and tame, a marvel of individual development. It was operating at a high level of achievement, far above its wild cousins, having developed specialized knowledge under controlled instruction, making it an individual success story. Yet, every time it heard the faint caw, caw of the wild crows, it grew restless. The call of its species, the law of social heredity, was too strong to ignore. One day, it flew to join them. What happened? It was not welcomed. It was abused, pecked, and ridiculed by the pack because its tameness and individuality made it different. Eventually, the bird ceased to live in that environment, having reverted entirely to the wild. The social heredity of the wild crowd had destroyed its individual training. The collective mediocrity drowned out the individual mastery. The desire to belong overwhelmed the discipline to ascend. This is the fate of the man who seeks approval from the herd rather than seeking the heights of his own potential, choosing comfort over command, and settling for the average existence dictated by his genes and his geography. Your family environment acts the same way. If you constantly hear the language of lack, the language of fear, and the language of mediocrity, your mind will eventually revert to the pack. You will stop thinking like the owner you intend to be and start thinking like the servant they expect you to remain. Your subconscious is taking orders from the loudest voice in your environment, and often that voice is the ghost of generations of limited thinking, dictating your failure before you begin, unless you intervene with consciousness and a strong dose of autosuggestion to assert your mental independence. If you are a late starter, you cannot afford this contamination. Your time is too valuable, your desire is too fragile to be spent hours a day neutralizing constant negativity. You must change your internal, and if necessary, your external environment. The success of your plan depends on the company you keep, and the price of delay is failure, amplified by the negativity you absorb and internalize, which drains the vital energy of your ambition and your persistence, replacing it with doubt. Action steps. Neutralize the influence. You must neutralize the toxic telepathic influence that binds you to the pack. This is the application of autosuggestion as a defense mechanism, turning a passive mind into an active defense system capable of self-correction and self-direction towards definite goals. Change your environment. I advise without apology that if your daily associates do not inspire you, you must change your environment. You cannot escape the influence of those with whom you associate. This may mean physically moving, or it may mean severely limiting the time you spend in negative company, focusing instead on your work or on your mastermind alliance. You must conduct a strict audit of your 5 closest associates and actively elevate the level of their ambition, seeking out those whose achievements match your definite aim, recognizing that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, financially, mentally, and spiritually, and this average must be high, powerful, and productive. The neutralization technique. When a family member voices a negative thought, for example, "That will never work," or "You are too old to start a business," you must instantly and forcefully utilize autosuggestion to plant a counter-suggestion in your own mind. Stop their thoughts in your mind. Say aloud, or to yourself with conviction and faith, "My definite aim will succeed. I will succeed." This immediate positive command neutralizes their telepathic influence and prevents it from infecting your subconscious mind. This must be repeated with emotion, immediately, before the doubt can take root, transforming a negative suggestion into a positive command that reinforces your own belief and acts as a firewall against external negativity, actively reprogramming your belief system in real time. Seek new stimuli. Deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act for yourself, those who have achieved the things you desire. These are your new teachers, your new mentors, and your new mastermind. Their positive expectations and successful habits will counteract the destructive social heredity of your home. You must find the new pack that is climbing, not clinging. Spend at least 1 hour daily consuming only the knowledge and thoughts of men who have achieved great wealth and freedom, actively replacing the old internal narrative with one of power, vision, and limitless possibility, flooding your mind with specialized knowledge and positive mental power that aligns with your definite chief aim. Affirm this aloud now, internalizing the command. I command my environment. I refuse to be dragged back to the pack. My associations reflect my ambition. The friction factor. Why you cannot succeed in a war zone. I want to speak now to the hidden drain on your energy, the energy required for persistence and organized planning. You cannot build a new life, a new empire, or a new fortune if you are engaged in constant friction at home. The mind that is constantly at war cannot formulate the plans of genius or maintain the necessary concentration for sustained effort. It is too preoccupied with defense and emotional recovery, wasting precious resources. Harmony is the first law of all enduring success, and if your domestic relationships are filled with bickering, jealousy, or constant argument, your master mind is broken, your vital energy is drained, and success is absolutely impossible. Friction is the silent thief of your fortune. It is a slow, consuming fire that burns away your concentration, your resolve, and your creative power, often leaving you too exhausted to pursue your definite aim or exercise your willpower when critical decisions arise. Domestic friction, particularly in a primary relationship, is one of the quickest ways to deplete your vital creative energy. The principle of the master mind states that the coordination of knowledge and effort between 2 or more people in a spirit of harmony achieves extraordinary synergistic results. When that harmony is broken, not only is the synergistic power lost, but the resulting friction consumes all the creative energy you need for work. This is deeply tied to the law of mental economy. The creative energy required for wealth building is finite. That vital energy, the energy of desire, must be channeled into your work, your organized planning, and your achievement. When this energy is wasted on arguments, tension, and bitterness, nothing of lasting value can be built. You have nothing left to give to your definite chief aim. Your mind cannot create wealth while simultaneously defending itself from attack. It must be focused, clear, and unburdened by conflict, operating with military precision, knowing that every conflict is a tax on your future success and longevity, deducting from your eventual fortune. The school of bitterness. The cost of disharmony. I witnessed the destructive power of domestic friction in the story of two partners who owned a prosperous school. They were successful only because they worked in perfect alignment, a true mastermind alliance. Their prosperity was built on shared, harmonious purpose, with their combined mental energy multiplying their results far beyond their individual capabilities. Then a foolish, petty quarrel arose. Their wives began arguing over who was the better piano player. It was a matter of ego, a matter of pride. Yet the husbands eventually took up the quarrel in defense of their wives, became bitter enemies, and within a short time the school was bankrupt. The bones of that once prosperous school, I noted, lie bleaching in the sun due to the simple lack of harmony. A disagreement over a triviality led to the collapse of an entire enterprise, demonstrating that the failure of cooperation is the failure of the enterprise itself. No business can survive internal sabotage, and your life's work is the greatest business you will ever run, requiring the highest level of cooperation and understanding from your core associates, especially within your own home. Your constant arguing with a spouse, your persistent bickering with a parent, or the unending family drama is not harmless venting. It is an active destruction of your potential. You are allowing others to drain the vital battery of your life force. You are turning your home into a psychological battlefield. This wasted energy could have been transmuted into creative, persistent action toward your definite chief aim, resulting in tangible wealth and the establishment of your freedom and independence, but instead, it funded bitterness and poverty of ambition. If you are a late starter, your new beginning requires maximum energy and focus. You cannot afford to spend your nights and mornings engaged in a low-stakes conflict that has a high-stakes cost to your wealth. Every minute spent in friction is a minute stolen from your organized plan. Protect your energy as if it were a rare currency, for it is the foundation of your future empire and your only true source of power for sustained persistence. Action steps. Seek harmony or neutrality. You must treat harmony as a necessity, not a luxury. It is a business requirement for success. Audit your alliance. You must honestly determine if your home life is a functioning mastermind, a harmonious unit, or a source of friction. If it is friction, you must immediately seal off your creative business mind from your home mind until the issue is resolved. You cannot mix the energy of creation with the energy of destruction. A true leader keeps his emotional capital protected by compartmentalizing conflict away from creation, refusing to let domestic issues interfere with the development of his definite chief aim or his organized planning sessions, which must occur in a state of mental peace and uninterrupted focus, establishing clear boundaries. The retaliation rule. If a family member is negative, critical, or attempts to draw you into an argument, do not retaliate in kind. Use self-control, a principle vital to success, to refuse to enter the argument. By refusing to engage, you stop the argument ending, thereby preventing the emotional energy drain. You cannot control their attack, but you absolutely control your defense. Silence in the face of trivial attacks is a demonstration of superior power and discipline. A single spark of temper can ignite a chain of events that costs you a week of creative work and violates the principle of self-control, showing the wisdom of reserve and the power of emotional maturity necessary for leadership. The golden rule of harmony. If you cannot have active support, negotiate for neutrality. Explain that your work is not about them, but about securing the future for everyone. A lack of active opposition is the next best thing to a true mastermind alliance. Seek peace at any cost to preserve your energy. Be willing to yield on minor points in conversation or in argument to win the major battle of your life's work and maintain the necessary domestic peace required for focused thought, understanding that time spent fighting is time spent failing, and the cost of being right in a petty argument is often ruinous to your larger goals and your definite aim. Affirm this aloud now. Let the conviction sink into your soul. I demand harmony in my life. I will not waste my energy on friction. My peace is my power. The opinion trap. Mastery of indecision. If your family wants you small and controllable, the most potent weapon they have is their constant flow of opinions disguised as well-meaning advice. Understand this fundamental law of life and commerce. Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Every single person has a vast supply of them, and they are usually willing to give them away for free, regardless of whether they have the experience to back them up. Their advice costs them nothing, but it could cost you everything it is, the difference between freedom and servitude, between a definite chief aim and a life of drifting based entirely on second-hand fear and rumor that lacks foundation or fact. If you let your family's doubts, fears, and worthless opinions create indecision in your mind, you will never reclaim your lost years. This is how you are held back. This is the mastery of procrastination. The man who is successful makes his decisions promptly and changes them slowly. The man who fails makes his decisions slowly and changes them often. Speed of decision is the hallmark of the genius, demonstrating the clear focus of their desire and the strength of their willpower to overcome doubt and act upon their plans swiftly, securing the first mover advantage. The man who is too worried about what his parents think, what his spouse says, or what his sibling advises will be frozen in place. He will spend his life in a paralysis of analysis, and his life will be determined by the lowest common denominator of fear in his circle. This is how you remain small and controllable, always waiting for a signal that never comes, and sacrificing years to delay until the opportunity has passed away entirely and been seized by a man who was swift in decision and bold in action, recognizing opportunity's brief window and acting immediately. The Ford Law, facts versus opinions. The wealthy and successful men I studied had an almost militant habit of filtering counsel. Look at the story of Henry Ford, a man who created an immense fortune by refusing to change his iconic Model T, when his family, friends, and trusted advisors all told him he was making a costly mistake. Ford listened to his inner counsel, the counsel derived from his definite chief aim and accurate thinking, which is based on facts, not conjecture. His mind was padlocked against the constant stream of opinions that were based on fear and short-sightedness. His decision-making process was firm and slow to change. His firmness yielded one of the greatest fortunes in history. Their constant flow of opinions would have yielded mediocrity and bankruptcy. Ford knew the power of his own decision was greater than the collective doubt of 100 men. He knew what he wanted and moved toward it, unburdened by the fear of criticism, demonstrating the power of a mind fixed on a purpose, which is the only mind the world bows to and obeys, ultimately proving the supremacy of clear vision over popular consensus. If you are a late starter, you have no time for paralysis. You must move with speed and decision. Every day lost to indecision is another day you are serving someone else's dream. The time for analysis is over. The time for action is now. Action steps. Separate fact from fear. You must develop the ability to ruthlessly separate a fact from an opinion. Separate facts from opinions. When family offers advice, ask yourself 2 simple questions. Is this based on a fact I can verify? And has this person achieved the result they are advising me on? If the answer to B is no, and the answer to A is merely based on fear, memory, or what most people do, it is an opinion. If it is an opinion, discard it immediately. The counsel of the inexperienced is often fatal, leading the listener into the same trap of delay. Base your plan on proven specialized knowledge, not sentimental fear, ensuring your every action is guided by intelligence, not insecurity, and that your path is charted by accurate data and the counsel of true experts who have verifiable results and experience in your field. The show don't tell rule. Stop announcing your plans to them before you have results. Tell the world and your family what you intend to do, but first show it. Deeds, not words, count most. Announcing your plan prematurely gives the fearful an opening to attack your ambition and introduce doubt into your subconscious mind. Work in silence and let your results speak for themselves. Let the fortune you build be the argument you present. It is the only proof they will truly respect, and it protects your ambition during its fragile developmental stage by denying critics fuel and opportunity for intervention and emotional sabotage. The 60-second decision. Practice making small personal decisions quickly without consulting your family. Do not ask for advice on where to eat, what to wear, or which task to do first. Practice making these micro decisions rapidly. This breaks the habit of dependency and trains your willpower to be decisive when the big opportunities, the opportunities for fortune, arrive. The habit of swift decision is the key to escaping procrastination and reclaiming mental independence, proving to yourself through consistent action that you are the master of your own choices and the commander of your time, eliminating the mental habit of seeking external approval for every small step. Affirm this aloud now. Let your voice carry the certainty of command. I make decisions swiftly and boldly. I value facts, not fear. I am the final authority in my life. The ultimate defense, building a wall of immunity. You cannot change your family. You cannot control their opinions or their fears. But you can and must build an ultimate defense, a wall of immunity around your own mind. You build this wall by developing the principles of a pleasing personality and unshakable self-confidence. When you develop these inner traits, you make their negativity bounce off you, allowing you to love them without being masterminded by them. Your inner composure becomes an impenetrable shield that deflects the arrows of criticism and the subtle attacks of fear, leaving you energetically uncompromised and mentally free to pursue your goal without distraction. The negative, critical person feeds on your emotional reaction. They seek the friction and the quarrel because it validates their own victim mentality. Your anger, your sadness, or your defensive posture is their fuel. When you develop self-control and tolerance, you starve them of that fuel, and their influence over you withers. You control the interaction by denying them the conflict they crave and refusing to participate in their emotional drama, forcing them to confront their own emptiness, which breaks their manipulative cycle and restores your peace. This is not a strategy of war. It is a strategy of defense. It is the application of your willpower to create an internal state of unshakable faith and certainty. You cease to be a puppet on their strings of emotion. This defense allows you to operate in a state of mental peace regardless of external chaos, making your mind a true haven for creative thought and organized planning, the necessary incubator for fortune and the highest form of personal sovereignty and mental safety. The clergyman's tolerance, disarming with self-control. I recall the story of a New England clergyman who was confronted by a guerrilla soldier who wanted to harm him. Instead of fighting back or cowering in fear, the clergyman used absolute self-control and a genuinely pleasing personality to disarm the man morally. He refused to let the soldier's aggression dictate his own reaction, remaining tolerant, firm, and kind. The soldier was defeated not by force, but by the clergyman's superior character. He controlled the narrative by controlling himself, using his peaceful demeanor as a weapon of moral authority that overcame physical threat, proving that mental mastery is the ultimate form of power, far superior to brute strength or quick temper, and that inner calm dictates outer reality and outcome. You must do the same with critical family members. You do not respond with anger, which is weakness. You respond with an internal, unshakable belief in your own path, which is power. Their attempts to control you will meet the unyielding wall of your character, and they will fail. The final element of your defense is tolerance. Pity those who discourage you rather than getting angry. Their criticism is not about you. It is a statement about their own lack of achievement. Intolerance of their views binds you to them, locking you into a battle you cannot win. Tolerance frees you to move on, to rise above, and to build. You gain nothing by proving them wrong. You gain everything by moving past their limitations and focusing solely on your definite chief aim, utilizing the energy saved from argument for creation and constructive effort, ensuring their words hold no power over your destiny or your resolve. Action steps: the wall of immunity. Your character is your ultimate defense against the fear and negativity of others. The wall of immunity. Recognize that you have a powerful willpower and put it into constant use to build a wall of immunity against negative influences. The willpower must be actively exercised daily through small acts of self-discipline and persistence. Build this wall brick by brick through daily, focused effort. Do not let one day pass without strengthening your mental resolve through definite, intentional acts of self-mastery, cementing your self-reliance and making your mind impenetrable to fear and external suggestion, ensuring your inner dialogue is always positive. The shield of the pleasant persona. When confronted by criticism, your reaction must be one of unyielding calm and genuine kindness. Use your pleasing personality as armor. Refuse to let their anger infect your tone. Respond with neutral firmness. I respect your opinion, but my plan requires me to move forward. Develop tolerance by pitying those who discourage you. When they speak of negativity, simply smile, acknowledge their opinion, and then mentally file it away as irrelevant. Your pleasant detachment frustrates the critic who seeks conflict and preserves your emotional energy for productive work, turning a potential enemy into a neutralized bystander and maintaining your inner harmony and focus for your definite purpose. The daily self-confidence formula. Repeat this formula daily, allowing it to program your subconscious mind with the energy of faith and desire. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude toward others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me, because I will believe in them and in myself. This formula is the autosuggestion required to make your new identity real and unassailable by external doubt, creating a fixed, positive mental attitude that attracts success and repels negativity, serving as a constant reminder of your definite chief aim and self-worth. This is the character of the man who commands. Affirm this aloud now. I am shielded by my character. I am the master of my mind. I love my family, but I will not be mastered by their fear. The choice of command. I have given you the unvarnished truth. Your family, your dearest friends, and your environment can be, and often are, the most significant handicaps to your success. They want you small and controllable not out of hatred, but because your light exposes their shadow. They are products of the same system that told you to obey and retire poor. But remember, it is not too late for you. It is only too late when you make the final decision to surrender. If you are hearing this, it means the flame of desire is still alive within you, and that flame is a promise of power and redemption. You still have time to build the empire you were meant to command, and the remaining years are sufficient, provided you waste no more time debating with small minds or sacrificing your vision to their fears. You can pass away as a servant to the guilt and the expectations of others, or you can rise as a leader, a commander, and the master of your own destiny. The difference is not money or connections. It is thought, discipline, and decision. To reclaim your lost years and build the life you were meant for, you must execute these 3 final commands, the summation of everything I have taught you. The command of decision. Decide right now that you will no longer seek permission. You will no longer sacrifice your definite chief aim for the comfort of others. You will padlock your mind against toxic influence and move with persistence. Your new identity starts with this single, irreversible choice, executed today with a definite plan of action that begins immediately, leaving no room for fear or second guessing, proving your sincerity to the universe and to yourself, and establishing your mental sovereignty. The command of environment. Immediately begin shifting your environment by seeking out a mastermind alliance, people who think bigger, move faster, and operate in harmony with your ambition. Let their influence replace the decades of social heredity that held you back. Make your associations your greatest asset, cultivating the positive mental environment necessary for wealth creation and the realization of your highest potential, ensuring your air is always filled with the thoughts of success and possibility which feed your subconscious and strengthen your faith. The command of character. Build a wall of immunity through self-control and tolerance. Refuse to engage in domestic friction. When they offer an opinion, you offer a fact, your unwavering faith in your own ability to succeed. Your internal strength is your final, unbreachable defense, giving you the peace of mind required for organized planning and inevitable success, which is the final proof of your mastery over both your circumstances and yourself, fulfilling your definite chief aim and leaving a legacy of power. You are not here to serve fear. You are not here to obey mediocrity. You are here to command. If you have found clarity in these principles, then this message is meant for you. Do not risk missing the next lesson. Subscribe to this channel now. To prove your decision is final, I want you to leave a comment below and tell me your age and your definite chief aim. Let the world know that you are no longer hiding. And if you know someone else who feels the heavy weight of family pressure, share this message immediately. You may be giving them the single greatest spark of desire they need to break free. Let this be your final oath. I will not be a slave to any man's opinion. I was born to command wealth, not to work until passing away. My success is my duty. Now walk, speak, build, and live not as the person the world tried to make of you, but as the master you were always meant to become. You are not too late. Start now. This channel walks with you.